coverage of Magic Bricks now was really helpful in the sense a lot of people from across the city actually spoke to me.
The Magic Bricks channel has been covering along with one of my teammates, Sunil, here the whole issue right from the beginning.
Mega Magic Bricks now impact in Chennai after citizen outcry. PWD department finally takes action, raises illegal structures on the polluted Chitlapakam lake. Shiv Sena's Kerala wing turns moral police in Kochi. 6 Sena workers arrested for assaulting and abusing couple in the presence of policemen. Serial rapist who was let off by Bengaluru police strikes again, rapes unsuspecting victim. The serial offender has been nabbed again, but police faces heat from activists and citizens. And filmmaker Ram Gopal Varma's Women's Day tweet triggers controversy. Now, FIR filed against Ram Gopal Varma for insulting women. You're watching The Big Story. I'm Mamata Balachandra. A day after he landed in trouble for a sexist tweet on Sunny Leone on the eve of Women's Day, a Twitter war has erupted between NCP leader Jitendra Hawad and filmmaker Ram Gopal Varma. Now, the NCP leader threatened Ram Gopal Varma over his tweets. On Wednesday, Ram Gopal Varma tweeted, and I quote, "I wish all the women in the world give men as much happiness as Sunny Leone gives." Expectedly, huge uproar has erupted, accusing Ram Gopal Varma of insulting women.
The complaint letter which was lodged by Vishaka Mambre says, it is with a malicious intention and to gain cheap popularity that Ram Gopal Varma has resorted to such a tweet publicly, and he is a person, they say, who has always been getting into controversies because of his tweets. And in fact, the complaint letter goes on to say that such type of objectionable tweet has insulted the women's prestige in the society, which is a cognizable offence under the Indecent Representation of Women Prohibition Act of 1986. And in fact, there are two more demands, two basic demands that they have made. It says the offence may be registered against Ram Gopal Varma under the cyber law for victimization of women under section 292, and they're also demanding, this is very important, they're demanding that the Twitter account of Ram Gopal Varma be permanently blocked. This is what the complaint letter goes on to say. It is not the first time that this director, Ram Gopal Varma, has actually insulted a section. A lot of women out there, by putting out a tweet like this, this complaint letter is a reflection of the anger among the people because of his tweet.
On The Big Story, we're joined in by actor Nagma. Nagma, thank you so much for joining us here on Magic Bricks. Now, first of all, you represent the industry. Tell us this, after this shocking tweet, what are your reactions as an actor and as a representative of the industry?
I just think that one shouldn't give too much of importance to what he has to say. It's just to gain cheap publicity that one is doing all this. So I don't think there is any dignity of women which is being compromised on by remarks such as this. So I think he should be completely ignored, because one after the other he keeps giving some of the other remarks, which are derogating some fashion or the other to something or the other. I mean, this time it's woman, last time it was something else, before that is something else. So I think it is the problem of a mindset of a certain person.
But Nagma, don't you think, tweets like this send out a wrong message to the public at large? Because we're talking about a celebrity here who probably has an influence over some people at least.
I don't think so. I don't think Ram Gopal is a person who has an influence over anybody. And I don't think that people should get affected by what he has to say as well. So I don't think much importance should be given to a person like that. And I only see this as attention-seeking technique rather, because this is happening repeatedly in one context or the other. This time it's women. Last time it was something about some demigod. I don't know what it was about. Before that it was something else. And so he always makes controversial remarks about something or the other.
So when we talk about, while we're on the topic, when we talk about tweets that have happened before, we've seen Mr. Varma talk about different actors. We've seen tweets, personal attacks made at these actors before, but this time around it's half the population that we're talking about against this half the population. So tell me this, at this point in time, do you think this tweet in particular is largely a publicity stunt?
But of course, I mean, why? The half the population is not even bothered and affected about what Ram Gopal Varma thinks or feels or whatever it is. I mean, it doesn't make women lesser in dignity in any manner or any fashion. So I just think that one should not give much attention to this at all and make him so big and him so relevant and him so important for what he has to say for women and in connection with women.
Also, tell me this, while we are on the topic, you of course are saying that we should just ignore this and move on in life, but how do you address mindsets like this? Because it's not just about Mr. Varma here, we're talking about several other people who have perhaps mindsets like this.
My interviews yesterday when it was Women's Day, that after 1991, when economic liberation for women happened, and it's so unfortunate that the society cannot is so used to oppressing women that they can only see how they can put down a woman. And I think that, we should all just stand up and together just kind of, just not pay much heed to people who are relevantly again and again and repeatedly making these kind of, remarks. Like, for instance, now we are talking about Ram Gopal Varma. I think he shouldn't be given much attention to because he's been doing it repetitively. This time it's woman. Before it was something else. So everybody finds his remark very bizarre. So why do they give so much of importance? I mean, when somebody is in a relevant position and when somebody is making a remark, let's talk about that. I didn't like something what the Minister for Home did in context of Gurmeher Kaur. So why was that not so much spoken about and why is this so much spoken about?
In fact, Trisha Shetty, activist, joins us on the phone line as well. Trisha Shetty, you heard Nagma there. Nagma saying that we shouldn't even pay attention to Mr. Varma. Do you also hold that? Do you think we shouldn't take up this issue and talk about it?
Look, I tell you, for too long, the counter-argument, ends up being, I don't want to get into the specifics, but for too long, the counter-argument ends up being, if you don't like what I'm saying, ignore it. How does it matter? Or let's not pay heed to it. I think it's prudent upon all of us to call out sexism as and when we see it. Then be it whoever making the sexist remarks, call it out, be judgmental of it and vehemently reject it. When we see the climate in India right now, where women are subject to gross sexual harassment on a day-to-day basis, sexism, statements, remarks made of such nature obviously contribute to the problem as a whole. So to then say, let's ignore it, or, he's not the only person who's making such remarks. How about, we look at the other person making the remark, I think is counterproductive to the whole issue of addressing how can we make sure that we address the climate and make it a safer place for women to be, to exist, to live without sexism and constantly being objectified. As a vehicle, the film industry anyways does enough damage towards objectification of women. At this point, it's essential for all of us to hold them to a higher standard.
I object to this statement.
Yeah, so
we can count
Nagma, go ahead then.
Merits of it, but we have to admit that popular media plays a huge role when it comes to being influencers and leading the charge when it comes to issuing what kind of statements and.
Ms. Trisha Shetty, 1 second. Nagma, you had a point to make.
Yes, I am not liking the generalization and the pointedness towards the film industry. I think men in general in society have this habit of oppressing women. So let's not just point out to the film industry and say that this is where, putting down women is concerned. We have women like Kangana Ranawat, we have women like Vidya Balan, we have many women in the past who have done women-centric movies and all that. And we are really the one who portray the the real life into the real life.
If I may quickly come in, the intent
is not somewhere where it's constantly the area where it's putting down women. So I think to generalize
quickly come in, the intent is not to put the film industry down. If anything, it is accepting that the film industry is a huge influence.
There are such kind of remarks made from every area in life. So why just talk about the
One second, Miss Trisha Shetty, 1 second. Nagma also also had another point to make earlier when I asked her what kind of a message this is sending out to the larger public. She says that, Ram Gopal Varma is not at all an influential person. Do you also hold that belief? Because we're talking about a celebrity here.
I said it in the context of the fact that he's time and again doing reprehensible things. I mean,
fair enough.
What are you going to react to? And he knows that he's getting this kind of attention and he's seeking this kind of attention. So why?
I think it would not be too far-fetched to say that Ram Gopal Varma doesn't speak on behalf of the film fraternity as a whole, and certainly he's not a major influencer. That's not a far-fetched argument. Having said that, he does have a reach. He knows exactly what he's saying. We are talking about this right now. I am of the strong belief that it could be Ram Gopal Varma. Tomorrow it could be XYZ who has no public profile. If anyone makes deplorable remarks, then be it a politician or be it anyone having any sort of public standing or lack thereof, it should be called out. I'm against the idea of, saying others are making more remarks. Why talk about this at all? In fact, we need to have more conversation. We need to have a sensitized society, and that comes through holding people responsible for the remarks that they are making and questioning them should they be objectionable. Film industry does play a huge role towards driving what popular media opinion is about. Knowing that it comes with that sort of an advantage, of course, with celebrity comes responsibility. Now you can debate on whether Ram Gopal Varma is a celebrity or not, but he has an outreach. So when you're talking about with celebrity coming responsibility, you have to completely reject objectification of women, then be it in any form of media, films, item numbers, or remarks made by celebrities.
Nagma, Trisha Shetty has a point there. She says, of course, that it could be Ram Gopal Varma today, it could be somebody else tomorrow. We've seen several comments made like this in the past as well. So tell me this, what is...
do name calling by saying we've seen several comments in the past.
I can in fact...
industry from the past 30 years. I'm around here, I've worked in 9 different languages. So please take names and talk to me about names.
Just to, counter that argument, there have been several people, and when I say several people, just to give you an example, hear me out, just to give you an example, there's Vinay Katiyar, who's the founder president of Bajrang Dal, who made a comment on Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. There's Abu Azmi, who made a comment. There's Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi of the BJP, and Sanjay Nirupam as well from the Congress party. So we're not talking about just one person here. And coming back to the point that I was making, Trisha Shetty had a very fair point there. She said that it could be Ram Gopal Varma today, who is probably not as influential, whose statement we should probably ignore and move on, but it could be somebody else tomorrow.
Yeah, but let's it come to somebody else. First of all, Ram Gopal Varma, we have to see his track record. He's been somebody who has been talking about this and coming up with reprehensible statements time and again.
Trisha Shetty?
I'll just quickly, I have in a bit of a rush, but I'll just quickly have my last final remarks would be, for too long we've been complacent. For too long we've tolerated objectionable remarks being made against women. For too long, we have allowed for glorification of objectification, glorification of stalking. For too long, we've kept quiet. And every time we speak up and, object, we are told, look, there's a bigger issue. Why don't you talk about that issue instead? Look, female feticide is a problem. Why are you talking about this? Why are you talking about that? There's always this slice of hand that's happening.
What Ram Gopal Varma has said and reacting to him. Each one can react to him differently.
I strongly believe in calling out sexism as and when I see it. Every single time I see it.
What kind of a pattern does a person have? What kind of a mindset does a person have? It all matters.
Nagma, if I could quickly complete.
Represent the whole industry.
Let Trisha Shetty make her point. Before you butt in, let Trisha Shetty make a point.
No. You can't say that the whole film industry is like that, and he represents the entire.
Honestly,
that's
this
where
is like an ostrich of putting your head in the sand if you don't admit that film industry has glorified stalking and objectification of women over the years. If that is the conversation that you seem to, refuse to accept.
I'm a very integral part of it.
Again, this is again the conversation happening where you're like, oh, don't blame the film industry. Look at the politics.
But I wouldn't
right
like
now,
that.
what we're trying to say is blame everyone. Right now, I'm saying if all of us took onus and responsibility for all of our individual fraternities, and instead of saying, look at their industry, don't look at us, we would do better. Instead of saying, hey, don't look at us, someone else is worse than us. At this point, I think it's prudent upon all of us to say, how can we do better?
But also, Trisha Shetty, tell me this.
Something. I mean, I think that many
comes often. I would really wish people were more offended by the remarks being made as opposed to saying, why are you painting us in a bad light?
Trisha Shetty, Trisha Shetty, tell me this: where do we go from here now? On the one hand, we're talking about sexist comments like this and whether to ignore it or not, and on the other hand, it could be somebody else going forward. So where do we go from this? I mean, one is to acknowledge it and talk about it, but where do we go from here?
Well, I guess we need to have conversation. We are breeding a culture of silence. We need to have conversation, then be it to people from differing perspectives, even if it's from, Nagma, who's against it, seems to reject a lot of what I'm saying. We at least need to have more conversation about this issue.
Point that the entire film industry,
which is why I said I welcome the dissent and I welcome the conversation, because at least what that does is it leads to us talking about this on prime time television.
The entire film's eternity cannot be
like I said. And the second thing as to where do we go from here, I think we should go from a place of stop being so sensitive, hypersensitive over why are you painting us in a bad light, and accepting responsibility, and instead being intolerant towards sexism. I think if we changed our perspective a little bit and stopped being so defensive as a society and started being intolerant towards sexism and attacking sexist viewpoints, we would, and accepting responsibility and asking what more can we do to change the situation at hand, to truly make sure women are safe, have access to public places, are not vilified on a constant basis. I think.
Do you think people didn't react earlier on his comments, and do you think this discussions didn't happen while he had commented earlier? But he's still going ahead to do what he wants.
There are plenty of
comments like this. Entire film industry. There are many dignified people and dignified actors and actresses coming from the industry.
So, Nagma, are you of the belief that we shouldn't even acknowledge the issue, but we shouldn't even have conversations like this? Are you of that belief?
But time and again, whenever he has commented before, you've acknowledged it and people have discussed it and nothing has really happened. He's doing this again and again and again. Look at the pattern of him.
So, I'm quickly running out of time, but Trisha Shetty, one last comment from you. Tell me this. When somebody like Mr. Varma here, who's going on and on about women and, making sexist comments like these, and there's no stopping him, but what is your one-stop solution to something like this, apart from having conversations, of course, which we are doing?
Right. I would honestly say, again, it comes back to this heightened sense of awareness, and the one-stop solution for all of us would be to take our personal stake and responsibility in this issue. Truly accept that women are not safe in India. Look at the crime statistics that we see around us. Truly accept that women are treated as second-class citizens, despite of the laws that assure us equality, safety, dignity, respect. Once you accept the ground realities of what women are subject to, the gross harassment they're subject to, the sexism they're subject to, I think then the second call becomes, what more can I do in my individual capacity? What more can I do to demand for accountability from my government holders, from my judiciary, from influencers across all sectors? Then it'd be a politician, then it'd be a film industry, someone from the film industry, or it'd be any sort of influencer.
What she has to say now, I'm totally in agreement with her. Now what she has to say.
Thank you, Nagma. But yes, I'm so sorry, I have to...
all right. Both your points are taken. In fact, thank you so much for joining us here on Magic Bricks. Now, in fact, we have Prakash Belavidi also joining us on the phone line. Mr. Belavidi, you know the tweet. We are talking about the sexist comment made by Mr. Varma. What is your take on all of this? On the one hand, we have people telling us that we shouldn't even acknowledge, Ram Gopal Varma. On the other hand, there are people telling us that we should have conversations like this.
I don't know if he meant it in jest, but even as wit, I think it's in very poor taste, because, I wouldn't want to expect, everything from every woman. What does that mean? I have my mother, I have my sisters, I have my daughters. I have friends. What kind of a comment is that? I think, we must actually cease with this verbal diarrhea and, talk only when it's necessary, perhaps.
Mr. Belavidi, tell me this. Is this coming from you, considering you're from the industry, tell us this. Is this a common thing in the film industry, or is that a generalization of sorts?
I think all of us are given to making loose comments when it comes to any kind of vulnerable person, be it minorities, be it poor people, be it women, and maybe it's a statement asserting power. But I think people who are in iconic positions like Mr. Varma, who's a respected director, should have more restraint than he's showing now. It's really in bad taste.
Also, one last comment from you. Tell us this. Do you think, considering we've seen tweets like this before as well, there have been several personal attacks made before as well. So we're not, really focusing on the factor on how to stop people like this. But going forward, what kind of an impact will this have on the society at large? Because we're talking about celebrities here.
I don't know. I mean, I think he should. In his case, I think he should personally find a woman who scolds him and tells him what he said is not correct. And I don't know what kind of women have influence over him. But I think it's a lesson for all of us. Maybe we should be more sensitive in what we say, and more sensitive even internally, so that we don't even think these thoughts.
All right, Mr. Bellavadi, thank you so much for joining us here on Magic Bricks. Now, some more reactions coming your way. Listen in.
जो इतना गिरा हुआ है, उनकी दिमाग खराब है, उनको सनी लियोन को भी ऐसा बोलने में मैं उनको रिजेक्ट करती हूँ. उनकी कोई अधिकार नहीं, उनकी अपनी फैंटेसी है तो दिमाग में रखो, पब्लिक में मत लाना. और ये बात वो मापदंड से हम सबको तो मापदंड दे रहे हैं, माप कर रहे हैं. व्हाट नॉनसेंस इज दिस? ही सपोज्ड टू बी अ रिस्पांसिबल मैन जो फिल्म बनाते, पब्लिक की अभिप्राय के बारे में एक असर आती है, उनसे जहन पे लोगों के असर आ जाती है ऐसे बातों से. What nonsense he is talking? इतना गिरा हुआ.
श्री राम गोपाल वर्मा का तो पहले मैं निषेध करती हूँ, और फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में जो चलता है, यानी राम गोपाल वर्मा जिस तरह से बयान देता है, तो उस तरह से जो जीवन है महिलाओं का, जो श्रमजीवी महिला है, जो मिडिल क्लास महिला है, उनका जीवन सबसे अलग है. वो अपने रोजी रोटी और अपना परिवार का ख्याल रखती है और उसके लिए काम करती है, चाहे वो घर काम करने वाली महिला हो, चाहे ऑफिस में जाने वाली महिला हो, चाहे आईटी क्षेत्र में काम करने वाली महिला हो. इस तरह से सनी वो लियोन कौन है, उसकी तरह तुलना करना, ये राम गोपाल वर्मा को शोभा नहीं देता.
Absolutely a pervert tweet. With due respect to the great lady Sunny Leon, why on this day he couldn't remember his mother, his wife, his sister, his bhabhi? Ram Gopal Varma forgot all this. And doesn't he have a mother? He for happiness and satisfaction, only Sunny Leon is in his mind. That only shows his pervert attitude.
So you also there, war of word with Ram Gopal Varma.
Who is Ram Gopal Varma? Ram Gopal Varma is Oscar winner producer. What? Just because he produces 3 big pictures, he becomes a national hero? I have my sister at home, I have my wife at home, I have a mother. And I have all respect for all women in this society.
So this is not the first time Ram Gopal Varma in the...
So this habit should be stopped somewhere. It should not be a habit, a day-to-day habit. He tweets about Sonia Gandhi, he tweets about Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he tweets about Chandrasekhar, PV Narasimha Rao. Who the hell he is? And on personal level, look at the tweets about him, Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Sonia Gandhi ji. If this kind of tweets are tolerated by the society, I think the society has to come out openly. He has to be told that stop this.
How NCP will take this?
We will take it. We are in the land of Shivaji Maharaj. We will take it.
राम गोपाल जी जैसा पढ़ा लिखा और रिफाइंड पर्सन अगर इस तरह की बातें करता है, मैं सोचती हूँ बहुत गलत है. हमारी संस्कृति, हमारे संस्कार इस तरह के नहीं है. और अगर आपको उदाहरण देना है तो किसी ऐसी महिला का दीजिए कि उसकी तरह रहो, तो आपकी ख्याति भी बढ़ेगी और आपका सम्मान भी बढ़ेगा. लेकिन इस तरह के जो बयानबाजी हैं, हमारे यहाँ वैसे ही इतने बलात्कार और दहेज प्रताड़ना के केसेस हो रहे हैं. लड़कियां सुरक्षित नहीं है बिल्कुल भी, जहां भी जाती हैं वो असुरक्षित हैं. बावजूद उसके एक जिम्मेदार आदमी अगर इस तरह का राजनीतिज्ञ होते हुए अगर इस तरह का बयान देता है, तो मैं समझती हूँ बहुत शर्मनाक है.
Statements like this are narratives that embolden men to commit rapes and sexual assault on women. Because he's a filmmaker, many youth also follow this guy. And this guy cannot be a role model. He's an absolute I do not know what word to use for him, but he has no right to be in public space. He has no right to have these kind of statements made on social media. I would also like the social media to take off this man's account from whichever media that he's talking about, because that social media also has a responsibility.
Well, while the entire debate is on whether to acknowledge tweets like this, sexist tweets like this or not, one thing is for sure, we don't need to be told what to do with our lives. We don't need to be told what to wear and what to eat. And certainly for men who think and speak like Mr. Varma, we don't need men like that to pull us back. That's a wrap on the big story here. Thanks for watching. Stay with Magic Bricks now.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magic Bricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.